Hello, I'm Marianne Lee of Fantasy Alarm, and here are 5 surprising quarterback stats from the 2017 season. Number 1, Marcus Mariota only threw 13 touchdowns and 15 interceptions over the 15 games played this season. The only quarterbacks with more interceptions than touchdowns this year were the following, and there are quite a few. Deshaun Kaiser, Trevor Siemian, Brett Hundley, CJ Beathard, Tom Savage, Matt Moore, Mike Glennon, Kevin Hogan, Bryce Petty, Paxton Lynch, Scott Tolzien, Matt Castle, Patrick Mahomes, and famously Nathan Peterman. Deshaun Kaiser led the league with 22 interceptions, but second was Cam Newton with 16. And number 2, there are only 4 seasons in NFL history wherein a quarterback had a completion percentage at 70% or more. 3 of those 4 seasons belong to Drew Brees. The other one was Sam Bradford. Now this year, Brees broke the record with a 72.0 completion percentage. He's also the only quarterback with 12 consecutive seasons with 4,000 passing yards or more. And yes, he did that again this year in a down year. Number 3, Jonathan Stewart passed D'Angelo Williams with 51 rushing touchdowns as a Panther running back. He leads all time for the team. But it is Cam Newton who holds the record for the most rushing touchdowns as a Panther because he has 54 of those scores. Now this year, he tied with Dak Prescott for the most rushing touchdowns on the season, and that was 6. And he had the most rushing yards at the position, 745. That is 168 more rushing yards than Russell Wilson, who came in second. So much for the he's not going to run anymore after that injury narrative that was happening in the preseason. Actually, didn't he say something about you can't tell a lion not to roar? I mean, there was quite a thing about that. Ooh. Number 4, Blake Bortles was the number 1 fantasy quarterback from weeks 14 to 16, and he actually scored between 18 and 25 fantasy points in each game from weeks 12 to 16. The next best fantasy quarterback in the playoffs was Ben Roethlisberger, then Cam Newton, and then it was newcomer Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Russell Wilson was the highest scoring fantasy quarterback on this season, but 2 of his worst games of the season came in weeks 15 and 16, so bummer. And number 5, according to Pro Football Focus, despite being the number 1 fantasy quarterback in the league, Russell Wilson also led the league by being under pressure on 41.4% of his dropbacks. Now that didn't surprise you if you watched any tape whatsoever. Now luckily, Wilson was only sacked on 15.9% of his dropbacks. Jacoby Brissett led the league with being sacked 52 total times, but it was actually Tyrod Taylor who led percentage-wise, being sacked on 23.3% of his dropbacks. He also held the ball the longest with an average of 3.1 seconds to throw. Have you checked out Draft Easy yet? If not, you need to fix it. You need to just look right here below. It's an awesome new way to play. Go to fantasyalarm.com/drafteasy. Just enter the promo code ALARM, as you see below, again, and Draft Easy will match your deposit up to $100. For Fantasy Alarm, I'm Marianne Lee. Stay in the know.